You've heard of girl math. You've heard of boy math. Now let's hear about colonizer math. Colonizer math is being enacted in surprise when violent colonization and oppression is met with violent resistance. People have the right to resist.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Comic Crow. Sorry I haven't had a video out in a little bit. I started a new job and this whole potential World War III thing going on between Israel and Palestine, and everybody just so excited at the idea of offing other people. It's had me distracted, and anyone who's followed me on Twitter or X or whatever the hell you want to call it, you can see my tag at the bottom left hand of the screen. Go ahead and give me a follow. I've been talking about this a lot, and I kind of have to, right? I'm Palestinian, so these are my kin. These are my people, and I'm kind of upset about everything that's going on. Now, I was thinking, how do I talk about this situation? I don't want to show graphic images on the channel. I posted some of that stuff on social media. It's all out there. You can find it pretty easily if you want to see it for yourself. If you don't believe me, you can message me on Twitter and we can talk about it. I'm not going to post a ton of stuff like that in today's video. Instead, what I wanted to talk about is the incredibly low bar. The bar so low that you could step over it, that people had to clear here. And all that bar is that rape and murder of innocent people, civilians, is bad. That was the bar. That's that super fucking low bar that anyone could just step over it. Not even meaning to step over it, but just it's that low. It's that easy to clear. And how so many people on the left managed to let that bar smack them in the face repeatedly. Now, guys, before we begin the video, listen. One, subscribe to the channel, share the video, like the video if you like the content we put out. If this really isn't anything you want to be involved in, believe me, I understand. I'm really hoping that we don't escalate this conflict any further than it has already been escalated. And as far as me being Palestinian, yeah, listen, I don't want my kin to get wiped out, but I'm Muslim, okay? I believe in Allah's teachings, I do. And I think that there are things that we deal with in this realm, in this life, and there are consequences that we have to pay, that we will be judged on in the next, and Allah will be the one to pass that judgment. So the idea that Israel is so bad, and the IDF, which has legitimately done really screwed up things, is so bad that we have to damn our immortal souls in order to seek righteous vengeance against them. I don't believe that at all. Bad things are still bad, no matter what your justification for doing them happens to be. And everybody who does awful, terrible crimes on some level believes that they are justified in doing them. Over the weekend, during a Jewish holiday, Iran funded this massive operation, helped the Hamas terrorist in the region attack Israel. They launched 5,000 rockets, a cyber attack to take down security defenses, launched some attacks by sea, and also paraglided into Israel. Now, listen, if Hamas had done that and immediately targeted IDF and the military, I mean, yeah, I would have been like, oh, well, look, I don't want conflict between people. But that would have been one armed force attacking another armed force. And it's overseas international conflict. Let them work it out. That's not what Hamas did. Hamas did not even attempt to target the military. Hamas first landed at a music festival in which they slaughtered anyone that they could find. They went door to door in different villages and did very bad, awful things. Like the kind of crap you would see in Berserk is what they were doing. They dragged the bodies around, they paraded them around. It's awful stuff. It's really awful stuff. So when I say this bar was so fucking low that anyone could have walked over it, it amazed me that there were people who went so mask off defending the Hamas people and calling them freedom fighters. Now listen, there's a big difference between Hamas and the people that live in the Gaza Strip, but not to these individuals. To them, listen, when Israel says that they're now going to destroy Gaza Strip, or however they're framing it, then they're completely different. But when they talk about the attacks being justified, then they're the exact same. It's easy to say you support Palestine, you believe in a free Palestine. You can even say you want Israel dismantled. And also just add the caveat that murdering and raping innocent people is bad. That's all it would have taken. And these people couldn't manage to do that. So let's start with Ethan Klein. Now, for those of you who are just completely unaware, Ethan Klein is Jewish. Okay, so I might be mistaken here. He probably knows people that live in the area, if not has family that lives there, or people that are related to him in some way that live there. And so this is personally very upsetting for him. I think you could acknowledge that he is, on a personal level, this is affecting him. I can acknowledge that on a personal level, it's affecting me, right? I'm filled with anger over a lot of this stuff, right? He's realized that he has courted a very radical far left group of people and is starting to see them go completely mask off and what they mean when they talk about, quote unquote, decolonization. So people are talking about me unfollowing Frogan, so I'll explain why. Since she wants to talk about it, murdering children and burning families alive in their safe houses is not a revolution. It's a massacre. And you think that's what a revolution is supposed to look like? I'm terrified for your idea of an American revolution. To be very clear, people on the right have been saying that this is exactly what these people mean when they talk about a revolution or decolonization. And they usually play this really wishy-washy game where they don't outright deny it, but they just don't acknowledge it, and they turn around and accuse the people on the right of being anti-Semitic or being just outright racist or misogynist or whatever. But they never actually address the claim that's being made. Now they've seen an example of what they want, and they can't stop themselves from cheering it on. So yes, this is exactly what they want, Ethan. Welcome to reality. Reality just woke up and started slapping you across the face. Leftists preach and foam at the mouth at the thought of a revolution happening in America. But as soon as it happens in the Middle East, what they're doing is wrong. Ethan Klein unfollowed Frogan. Ethan Prob was like, damn, Arab supports Hamas. You can support Palestine without supporting the bad Hamas people. You can support Palestine and not support Iran or Hezbollah or ISIS. It's not that complicated. I have family lives in Jordan, right? I remember the story of when ISIS took a royal a pilot and locked him in a cage and set him on fire, which is sacrilegious to us, by the way. Does this idiot think, oh, well, if you don't support ISIS, then you're not Arab? They're not different. Okay, Hamas and ISIS, they're really not different. They believe in using the same tactics, clearly. Ethan, I'll support the IDF, refollow me. Why am I sad, LMO? Ethan Klein unfollowed me, LMAO. And what's really nasty about this is they seemingly award-winning streamer, goddamn, Twitch, good job. They seem to be very upset about the fact that Ethan Klein has unfollowed them, but more upset than they are of the tragedies that are occurring because they support those tragedies. They like those tragedies. Don't worry. We started with Ethan. We've got a lot more ground to cover. The fact that quartering is on your side should tell you everything. In response to Ethan going, who thought saying killing kids is bad would be such a controversial take? But here we are. Yeah, it's actually incredible. Some people on the left are like denying that this even happened. They're calling it a Zionist propaganda false flag. Like, I had somebody tell me that I should be ashamed of myself because my kin are the ones being targeted and they're the ones being oppressed. I'm like, bro, like, man, listen, man, if my father, if my father did half the shit these people did, I disown myself. Okay? I disown myself if my father was doing half the shit these people do. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and stand by it. I'm not gonna bite it. I'm not gonna justify it. I'm not gonna deflect away from it. I'm gonna look the truth right in the eye and acknowledge that it is happening and that it is bad. It is really fucking bad. This is this is what I mean. Like, they don't just see this as being like a thing there. This is something they believe should happen over here. Settlers aren't civilians. When you steal the land of others and deny them basic human rights, you don't really get to be a civilian. Does this mean that me, as a non-Native American, doesn't deserve human rights and could be gunned down at any moment? Now, check these responses. Yes. Technically, yes. Yeah. To be honest, yeah. And I also do as a non-Native American. Yes. Correct. Yes. Yes, you deserve to have a rocket hit your house, settler. Yes. This is what they truly believe. Now, people on the right have called this out for a while, right? And get accused of being like racist and everything. This is what they actually believe. Now, in 2 weeks, when they start to realize it's not popular anymore, or there's actual backlash and actual like societal consequences, like, I don't know, people realize who they are and they might start losing their jobs and other crap like that. They get canceled, yada, yada, yada. Then they might change their tune. Don't let them forget it, though. Don't let them forget that this is who they are and it's who they have always been. Is there anything more pathetic than the self-hating white person? Genuinely, what is stopping these people from doing their part and decolonizing themselves off a bridge? Now, listen, decolonization, you understand what it means to them, okay? I'm not calling for that. I'm just saying, like, man, these like, shoe went hard. Smug liberal voice, so you must consider yourself an acceptable target in the event that Native Americans started fighting back. Man, it'd be a fucking bummer, and I'd hide in a hole like a rat to avoid it, but yes, good fucking God. Well, listen, if Native militant groups started doing shit where I live, like what Hamas is doing in occupied Palestine, I'd simply have to hand it to them. How could I possibly object? If I got murked, it'd just be like, LOL, nice one, good on you. Man, you know, the thing is, I believe these people. I honestly believe that, I mean, look, if it actually happened, I think they'd be screaming like little pigs for help. But also, like, this is them. This is what they think should happen to other people. Is to be accurate. They're allies, so they should get a pass. That's typically how it works. Does this mean that as a non-native? Oh, sorry. Yeah, we already read that one. Look. I'm kind of, I would say I'm impressed, but see, for me, I've known this shit for a very long time. I've known that this is how these people think for a very long time. It's just nice that they're willing to come out and be very open about it now. Now, listen, I'm not going to play the video only because I don't want, I don't want to deal with the YouTube stuff on it. You can't see what's on the guy's phone. I've watched this thing. Oh man. Oh fucking man. Yes, he is waving around a video on his phone at a pro-Palestine rally of murdered Israeli women. Okay, this is something that is actually happening right. We got more stuff from the rally too. So pro-Palestinian protesters cheer after speaker says the media will tell you that yesterday terrorists invaded Israel, but we know that actually what happened is the oppressed people of Palestine broke out of the open-air prison. We know the real terrorist is the Israeli state. So I want to be clear here, right? I have the decency not to say everyone in the Gaza Strip is Hamas, and Hamas is its own thing. Hamas literally, okay, and this is well documented. It was reported years ago, well before this conflict started over the weekend, that Hamas plants weapon caches in schools, in mosques, and at one point put their headquarters underneath a hospital. Now, the reason why they do that is to discourage somebody attacking them. But, and I'm just going to be honest, right? If your neighbor is hiding in a school, launching rockets at your house every single day, and you tried, because the IDF did try, to go into that area to take him out, and you were met with like dozens of traps, and you had to pull out because you suffered heavy losses, would you then continue to be like, well, I guess just let him keep firing those rockets? Now, listen, IDF has tried to warn people in Gaza, hey, we're going to target this area. Evacuate now. And Hamas comes in and says, do not listen to them. They are Zionist liars. And then they get attacked. And then they turn around and use their corpses as propaganda. Now, that's not defending everything IDF has done. IDF's done like some really bad stuff. There's something specifically called mowing the lawn. Every few years, IDF will come in and destroy buildings and other things that they believe the people in the Gaza Strip could use to advance more. The reason why is because they really do not want more of the shit from Gaza spilling over because of, you know, Hamas and everything. Do I think that that's right? No, obviously not. That needs to stop. Do I understand why they're doing it? Yeah, I do. Because, like, if somebody was, like, routinely firing rockets at me and saying that they wanted to end my existence entirely, yeah, I'd probably not want them getting bigger buildings from which to, you know, plan attacks against me. But that's like, you know, having common sense. Do I think there's a way of, like, negotiating something here? Yeah, but it requires Hamas to be wiped out completely. And right now, Hamas is hiding outside of the country while issuing orders to everybody else. Anyways, let's listen to these brave people in New York.
The media will tell you that yesterday terrorists invaded Israel. But we know that actually what happened is that the oppressed people of Palestine broke out of the open-air prison that they have been.
Now, that leads me to this. This is from BLM Chicago. Now, this stayed up for a couple days. I think it's been taken down now. And BLM finally issued a statement. They didn't condemn what these people did. They said, oh, well, they're not actually technically really affiliated with the main BLM organization. And then they made a statement in support of Palestine. So I thought that was cute. I thought it was adorable. But the thing that's really disturbing about this, the initial attack on the music festival was by people paragliding in and just slaughtering everyone they could get their hands on. David Weissman. Now, people might not know David Weissman. David Weissman has been like hardcore Biden supporter. Trump's a racist, anti-Semite, all of that. But I thought this was great. I will never stop saying Black Lives Matter and may even get a shirt myself. Fuck them! Maybe the right was right about Black Lives Matter. Yeah, we told you, man. We told you. You didn't listen. It's okay. It's okay, man. Listen. There are some people that I genuinely feel bad for. I really don't feel bad for Mr. Weissman because Mr. Weissman has been hardcore engaged in the culture battle between the left and the right, talking all kinds of mad shit. I mean, listen, he's always going to be on the left, right? He'll always be there, but at least he's getting pulled away from like the radical far left extremists that are sitting there talking about the evils of the Zionist pigs and all that other garbage. Now this was again from the New York rally, and I'm not going to play the whole thing. I just want you to listen to this part.
Broke through the fence. They put the F-35s on trailers. And as you might have seen, there was some sort of rave or desert party where they were having a great time until the resistance came in electrified hang gliders and took at least several dozen hipsters. But I'm sure they're doing very fine despite what the New York Post says.
Yeah. So, like, again, they did attack the music festival. They took hostages. Now, as of right now, they are threatening to execute those hostages. Although there seems to be a little bit more of, like, realizing, hey, just killing a bunch of people is going to look bad. They've supposedly released a mother and her children to argue, well, we don't kill children. There's a photo, and I don't want to show it to you guys, of a bunch of burned and charred corpses of kids in one of the towns that Hamas attacked. Now, listen, I'm willing to believe that in the fog of war, people lie. But unless they set themselves on fire, Hamas has no care about murdering a bunch of children. And why would they? Like, Hamas's old charter literally called for the extinction of the Jewish people. Now, they later changed that to just the end of Israel. Although there's another clip, and I'm not going to play it just because it's pretty nasty. One of the Hamas commanders in 2022 openly talking about how they need to end all Jewish people and all Christian traitors. So yeah, they're all about ending the entire bloodline, like actual genocide. Fortunately for you Christians, they only want some of you dead, not all of you. I'm sure once they've dealt with the Yuden problem, then they'll reconsider. But you have at least some time to get your shit together. Yeah, again, over at the rally, just waving around the Nazi symbol. Let's talk about Hassan, okay? And this is mostly, listen, Hassan justifies the attacks in the sense that he talks about how, well, listen, you have to understand that they did this to these people and this is the only thing they could do in response. No, literally fucking no. But look, Hassan is very, lacks the balls to actually challenge his audience. But I genuinely believe he feels this way about Palestine and Israel because, one, I believe Hassan is some type of Arab. Oh, Hassan is Turkish. So Hassan used to be a member of the people that used to also put their foots on the necks of the Palestinians. So that's funny. But also, listen, Hassan looks at it as Israel is 100% wrong. Israel is the biggest force. Israel causes more damage to Gaza than Gaza causes to Israel. So ergo, Israel is in the wrong, Gaza is in the right, and Israel should leave the area and give everything to the Palestinians. It's a very simple mindset, and I understand where it comes from. The problem is, Hassan has such a large audience, and I want you to see some of the garbage that comes across in his audience. So there's a situation of a German girl who was at one of the festivals. Her body was being paraded around in the truck bed of one of the vehicles being driven by the Hamas people. And her legs are broken and bent out of shape. She has an obvious bullet exit wound in her skull, and she's not moving at all. There are other reports from the area of people that were not taken by the soldiers because they literally did not have the ability to take that many. saying that they were raped right next to the dead bodies of their friends. This is one of Hassan's viewers going, she wasn't stripped. She was wearing the same exact outfit in the truck as she was in the rave. I genuinely believe Hamas carried her out of the concert to get her to a medical treatment center. The outrageous claim that she was raped is absolutely not true. Hamas did not grab her and drive her to a hospital. They didn't grab her and take her immediately back to Gaza. They drove her around while waving their guns in the air to the cheers of the other Hamas people before eventually going back to Gaza. She's clearly dead. Her mom got contacted by someone in Gaza saying that, oh, she's alive and she's receiving critical treatment, but they won't send the mother any photos. They won't let the mother talk to her. And again, based on her condition in the video, like, she's dead. I feel bad for the mom because they're filling the mom with false hope. More than likely, so because the mom lives in Germany, wants the mom to put some sort of pressure on the German government, to put pressure on Israel to stop the attacks in Gaza. But like, man, This one hurt. This one actually hurt seeing. Hassan has been streaming the Palestine-Israel war nonstop for the past 3 days, now accumulating over 24 hours. He's doing everything he can to educate his audience. Man, there's one thing Hassan doesn't do is educate his fucking audience. And more, and I'm just so endlessly grateful his voice is so prominent, and that he is so openly anti-Zionist. Listen, man, I got issues with IDF and I got issues with Israel and everything, but I have the historical context to understand why it exists. I also know it's literally the only Jewish state, and there's multiple other Arab countries who outright refuse to take the Palestinians in. Again, Jordan won't do it because of Black September. Black September was a civil war that the PLO fought, the Palestinian Liberation Organization. They fought that war, attempting to seize control of the country. So Jordan's not going to let any more Palestinians in. Now I can sit there and go like, that war happened in the 70s. How can you hold it against all Palestinians? They do. They absolutely do. They will not let them come into the country because they don't want to do it all over again for obvious reasons. Egypt won't let them in. Egypt right now has openly refused any plans to let refugees escape into their country, even temporarily, because one, they do not know who has actual ties to Hamas, and Hamas will slip into Egypt, and Hamas will more than likely start conflict in that country and attempt to seize power and control. They're not going to do it. I think it was like in Kuwait, they straight up exiled like 100,000 Palestinians because they were attempting to start like some type of armed revolution in the country. This has been a routine and ongoing problem. It's like, man, I hate it. I do. The thing is, our bloodline is shared with the majority of the people that live in Egypt and live in Jordan, but they don't want anything to do with us. And it's like, you got to look at the reason why. It's because the Palestinian people have like opened up hostilities almost everywhere they've fucking gone. Like, man, this is what I mean. They don't understand this. They don't care. They see, well, Palestinian smaller group must mean that they're the good guys. They're being oppressed. We need to help them. The world, I wish, was as simple as these fucking people's brains were. Oh yeah, I there was another tweet. I accidentally closed it out early. There was someone claiming, like posting a video from Hassan. They're like, rare Hassan W, because Hassan was talking about how these people have toxic water and everything. Bro, the Gaza Strip has like a massive sewage issue, okay? They were sent pipes so they could deal with it, so they could improve their water supply and make it cleaner. Hamas took the pipes and repurposed them and made them into rockets and fired them at Israel. So they stopped sending them fucking pipes, so the sewage problem still exists. Now listen, you can sit there and you can blame fucking Israel for that, but the problem is Hamas, and they're like openly bragging about doing it as the EU wants to send them more pipes. Yeah, like, I don't know what to say. Israel could probably go in and build the infrastructure, but they would just get attacked. It happened before. It happened before. Like, I swear. And the thing is, people on the left would cheer those attacks on. So it's like you can't simultaneously cite a problem that they tried to fix that Hamas stepped in and made worse. They actually turned it into weapons. They turned it into fucking weapons. I'm not even gonna play this video. I'm not even gonna play this video. This is Dearborn, Michigan. Okay, Dearborn, Michigan had a whole rally. Okay, in which they had a bunch of speakers all come up and declare their overwhelming love and support of Hamas. Again, Hamas, who took pipes meant to improve the fucking water supply because their water is fucking toxic, and use it to make rockets to fire at Israel. That's who these motherfuckers are praising. So again, Hamas is not fighting for like the salvation of the Palestinians. They're fighting to end Israel. There's a big fucking difference. And I wish people would understand that, but they can't. Their brains just don't think that well. Oh boy. Here's a beautiful one. This is a massive crowd of people, right? All showing their love and support for Palestine and screaming, gas the, like, I can't. Like, I mean, literally, a bar so low you could trip on it and pass over it. And these people, it's like flying over their foreheads. They can't even see the bar, it's so high to them. Man, this... Like, I'd play the video, okay? I'd play the video, but I'm pretty sure it would, like, get me, like, struck so damn hard, okay? But you see the Twitter account. You can go look it up yourself if you don't believe me. I literally linked this to, like, some fucking rabid, foaming at the mouth leftist crying about Zionist propaganda. And his response was, oh, if you remove the subtitles and hold the audio really far away from your ears, then you can't actually prove that they're saying that. And I was just like, yeah, okay, man, good for you, good for you. You can't even condemn that. You can't even condemn that. Now, here's I guess like some good stuff, but it starts with some bad stuff. Large number of Harvard student organizations blaming Israel solely for Hamas attacks. Listen, I probably said the word somewhere else in the video. I just know this gets you flagged on YouTube. I've been calling them okay, listen. I'm calling some pretty screwed up things, and you can see it on my account. I can't say it for the video. Killing 700 civilians. I think the count's like as high as 1,000 now. Maybe a little bit more than that. But like this was like I think a day after. Can't imagine who would want to identify with such a group. Harvard parents, talk to your educated kids about this. Like, I'll leave it up on screen. You guys can read through it. I'm not gonna like pretend I want to understand this garbage. The good news. So this letter came out. Okay, a bunch of students, not immediately, but like a couple days after, are like, whoa, we don't support this. Listen, we didn't even realize that they were going to do this, because there are a bunch of companies, all right, who are sitting there going like, look, we want a list of every single student that's part of this organization, so we don't hire them. We don't want to give people like this a fucking job. And so students are coming out there going like, whoa. We did not even know the organization that we were a part of was going to do something this brain damaged. And like, I want to believe them. I really do, because there's been like cold shower moments for a lot of people on the left. First off, like this person's outright saying, I'm a Harvard law student, so I know many members had no say in whether their orgs signed either letter. Many weren't even notified that their orgs were considering doing so. No need for this level of harassment. I'm sorry, Mohini. I am. Welcome to cancel culture. Well, welcome to all the things people on the right were saying were a bad thing. Well, now you're seeing positions of power be leveraged against you for your viewpoints, which are not societally acceptable. Now, listen, this is not a question of trans kids or anything. This is a question of, are you okay with raping and murdering innocent civilians? And unfortunately, a lot of your class has managed to fail that test. Like, listen, I get you don't want to be harassed because you just happen to be part of the organization. Well, maybe leave the organization and get everybody else who's part of those organizations, get them to leave too, or demand that whoever is leading them immediately resigns. Don't sit there and go like, well, I didn't support it, so you shouldn't harass me specifically. No, I'm sorry, you joined a group, that group kind of fucked you over. Maybe do something about it. Now, this is what I meant, like cold shower moments. We already saw it with the Weissman guy. Anyway, fuck all you gamers and Reddit instructed leftists. Just like every adult suspected, you're more than happy to gobble down any Play-Doh murder as long as you buy it from the right franchise. You love to hate, but you're too fucking weak to man up and admit it. Hey man, bro, this is what I mean. These people have gotten so mask off, right? They're turning other rabid leftists against them. Like Adam Sessler, hates the right. Hates everybody on the right. Adam Sessler was the guy who was like, I'm never gonna have dinner with any Trump person, and neither should anybody else, even if they're your family. Right? That's who Adam Sessler is. Okay? And he saw it and he was like, holy fuck. Really? and these comments, okay, these replies are fucked. I gotta mute people because it just gets bad. What is happening? No one is okay with rape or murder. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I had this whole back and forth. Some of the replies I was getting into it with people, they were outright denying things were happening. Now listen, there are some stories I understand. You only have the word of 7 fucking journalists who all say they've seen these specific, bodies, which are apparently of babies that were apparently, detached from their heads. Okay? Just to use clean language for everybody. And they're like, well, Israel's claiming it, and I don't trust these journalists who say that they've verified it. And I go, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I understand media lies and all that other stuff. But the people are denying shit that we have videos for. There's someone who was denying the fact that Hamas openly said that they were gonna execute civilian hostages. And I was like, bro, what is going on? There's denying reality, and then there's just head up your ass screaming about Zionist propaganda. Man, it's you may as well just try to tell people that the Jews are hypnotizing the world. Go old school blood libel kind of shit. All right, guys, that's oh man, that's it for this very, very long video. But I owed it to you. Holy shit! It is. My final thoughts are: yeah, listen, I would love it if the Palestinians got their own state and were able to run that state. It's likely never going to happen. Okay, the Palestine has never existed. Okay, Palestine was never its own country with its own leadership. Palestine lived at the boot of the Ottoman Empire, and they were promised by the British, who got a mandate over the land back in, I think it's World War I. Hey, if you agree to betray the Ottomans and help us win World War I, we will give you this land. And they didn't immediately do that, right? They didn't immediately do that. And then World War II starts up in another, like, less than couple decades. And at that point, you have the whole issue with the Jewish people and people in Europe not wanting to let them go back. And then you have the Zionist movement saying, hey, let's return to our ancestral homeland, which it is. It is. Like, that's a crazy thing to me. Like, some of these, like, fucking rabbit-ass leftists will pull this bullshit where they're like, well, the Native Americans deserve this land because it was theirs originally. I mean, by that logic, why do you want the Israelis to be removed? It's literally their homeland ancestrally. It's in the fucking Quran, okay? It's not just in the Torah. It's in the goddamn Quran. It's in the Bible. Like, it's not even that. Like, you have historical records of what happened, of them being chased out by the Romans and the fucking Philistines. That's where we come in this story. So, like, I'm like blown away by it. It's literally theirs. I don't even like that idea. I don't even like that argument. The Palestinian people have been living there for a very long time. I think because of that, they should continue to live there. But you're never going to run that place. You're never going to have it. And the thing is, because of the very bad actions of, yes, a few of the Palestinians over the years, no other Arab nation is actually willing to take them in. Okay? Iran wants to, like, talk about, how they love the Palestinian people. They don't. Like, Iran would never let the Palestinians come stay there. They could do it too. They don't want them either. Egypt doesn't want them. Jordan doesn't want them. Lebanon doesn't want them. Syria's like a fuck location. Iraq is a fuck location. But, like, none of these other Arab countries want to touch this problem, and they don't trust the people because they've seen what has happened in other Arab nations when they had them there. So, like, you need to figure this one out. Okay, you need to be honest. It's going to be a very dirty conversation, and it's not one that your average Twitter leftist has the emotional maturity to actually tackle. But what it has done is expose exactly what they would like to do to everybody that lives here in the United States. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.